Hello student, welcome to History Chapter 3rd, Applied History Part 2. So we are going to start now various fields which the history is applied. So let us begin. The first field we are going to study is philosophy. Philosophy means the knowledge of origin, the knowledge, deep knowledge of any particular subject. It's the tattva. What is the tattva behind it? The origin of it. So let us see how this origin helps us over here in applied history. It helps to understand the origin of various ideologies. So, ideologies, origin of various ideologies. For example, how this universe exists. Who has created it? Who is the father of this universe? The stars, the moon, the sun. So, the origin. Who has created the first human being? How the human being evolved? So, all this origin is considered as the philosophy. So, it helps us to understand the origin of various ideologies and their historical development. So, how this history is developed. For example, let us see the Darwin's theory that he said human being evolved from the ape. So then, how Homo erectus, then Homo sapiens, then Homo sapiens sapiens, and then the present human being. So it is the ideology and historical development. Slowly it has got developed. Philosophy needs language as a medium of expression. So if we have to express our ideologies, then we have to express our thoughts orally, by speaking, or in writing. So when we speak, others can understand. For example, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, he spoke about the farmers, and then we came to know that and also he was speaking about women's education and Shudra education. So we know his ideology, that he wanted to uplift the downtrodden people. The same thing with Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. His ideologies also was related to uplift the Shudra and Ati Shudra people. Okay, his ideology was based on equality, on socialism. So in this way, Mahatma Gandhi's ideology on truth and non-violence. So in this way, my dear student, we have to express our ideologies in words, orally, or in a written form. For this, we have to have language, a strong base of language. In order to understand the philosophical expression, knowledge of the history of language proves useful. So we have to also have the knowledge of history. Then we can use this knowledge powerfully to express our ideologies, to express our thoughts more powerfully to the people. The second ideological field is science. Science helps in understanding the chronological order of scientific discoveries. Chronological order means how it got slowly evolved, how it was developed slowly. All of a sudden, we didn't develop anything, no. So, for example, calculator. So all of a sudden, calculator was not discovered. So slowly it was discovered. And then when calculator was discovered, then calculator, typing machine, together keyboard was computer keyboard was discovered. So slowly everything gets discovered. So science helps us to in understanding the chronological order of scientific discovery, invention, and theories. So any invention, if we have to do, then this invention has theory, and as well as the scientific discoveries takes place. For example, if now we are in corona situation, COVID-19, and now we are in need of vaccination. So we have to discover something. When we are discovering something, then we have to check whether this works, that work, or these two combined together, whether it works or no. So several experiments we have to do, and every experiment we have to write it down. So it helps to understand the cause effect chain that leads to those discoveries. So finally, when the vaccine on COVID-19 will discover, so it will have the cause effect chain, and then the discovery would be there, and the invention. Now today's newspaper status that BCG vaccine was insulated in a person who has affected with coronavirus, and experiment was going on. So this previous historical knowledge was there, BCG vaccine. With the help of that, we tried whether it works or no, and several more and more experiments will be done, and then finally we'll come with the vaccination. So it is rightly said that need is the mother of invention, necessity is the mother of invention. So as necessity is the mother of invention, I said discoveries, whatever discovery we make, are the effect of human efforts. So we have to take more and more effort to discover something. So it is the effect of human efforts to fulfill the need. So what is our need? Need is now we have to have vaccination on COVID-19. We have to have the machinery which is easily available to the whole country to check whether this person is affected with coronavirus. We have to, our need is at present sanitizers. So many needs are there. These needs make us to discover this more easily available for the people at the cheaper rate, and with the smaller the unit, the better. So in this way, it is our curiosity, how to make it, how to go about it. So it is our need, our curiosity makes us to discover something. Efforts are based on already available knowledge. So our efforts, as I told you earlier already, that what is the available knowledge related to this COVID-19 vaccine? As I told you, today Pune, few scientists, few doctors at BJ Medical College, they have tested with BCG vaccine on COVID person, and they are experimenting, trying whether this works. If we have to add in that some other thing, so they are doing experiment. It is their efforts, and these efforts are based on already available knowledge. Available knowledge is already we have this vaccine present. And then what else with that? What component we have to add to that vaccine so that it would be effective to control COVID-19? Knowledge of history of science helps in understanding the factors that facilitate the scientific discovery, invention, and also its chronology. So chronology is important, that how this vaccine, suppose we have already we are going to invent now very soon, the vaccine on COVID will be invented. Now, what available knowledge was there earlier? Let us say BCG vaccine. Then, what else was added in that? And then finally, these COVID-19 or the coronavirus to control, the vaccine was discovered. So, in this way, the chronology helps, and finally, the vaccine is ready. It is the invention or the discovery that yes, if you insulate this vaccine, then the person will not get corona affected. So in this way, my dear student, scientific knowledge also helps us to develop, and it is applicable to us. So the scientific history also helps to uh, applied history. Once again, I would like to put a focus on this point. Efforts are based on already available knowledge. Already available knowledge is there. From there, we have to start to the next. What is our need with available knowledge? And then we have to go on inventing, go on discovering something so that we overcome our need. Now, my dear student, we are going to see the next field, that is technology. Technology helps in understanding the changes and their causes in the field of agriculture production, community production, architecture, engineering, etc. So let us see what changes, what were the causes and their changes took place in the field of agriculture. So let us see, in the agriculture, earlier the farmer used to plow with the bullock and the plow, which were made with wood. Later on, the metal was discovered, and then the iron plow was implemented. Later on, tractor was invented, and the because of technology, large production of tractors were there, and many farmers could buy the tractors. So in this way, the cause was to increase the production. To increase the production, land has to plow in faster way. Then it requires a better plowing machine. Therefore, tractor was invented. In the field, in the same field, agriculture, let us take another example of the seeds. For example, in the drought-prone region, a seed is sown, but if it can grow with 2 to 3 good heavy rains and give a good yield, then that variety of seeds are better for that particular soil and that particular weather, climate in the drought prone region. But same type of seed we cannot sow in the Konkan region where it rains heavily. So we have to, the requirement is that we have to have the better variety of seed, and therefore this variety which will give good yield and which will be suitable to particular that type of climate. So we have to discover the particular type of seeds. So in this way, the causes are there that we have to have the better yield, the good amount of the quantity has to be increased, but also the quality has to be also the better quality has to be there. We have to maintain the better quality. So in this way, changes took place in the field of agriculture. Then in the field of commodity, again the changes took place. The causes were the demand of the people. Let us take any example of any bathing soap. Now there are quite a many bathing soaps. You see the advertisement in the in on the TV. So let us take the example of Dettol or Dettol Ho, which is the favorite of yours. And then the during the coronavirus time, we have to wash our hands for 20 seconds at least. And then Dettol soap is very useful, which is told through the advertisement, and therefore the demand has increased. So many more people are buying this soap, and therefore they have to increase the production so that the want is there. To fulfill the want of the people, the production has to be increased. This increase will be done with the help of technology. So in this way, production of agriculture, production of commodity, architectural production, there are quite a many varieties of architectural sites, buildings, the bridges, where this production is has to have a good quality and also increase the buildings. In that example, engineering example, the buildings earlier were 1 story, 2 story, 3 story, and now we can see Burj Khalifa is the if I'm not mistaken 120-story building. So in this way, it is in the engineering field, the technology has been increased so that we can even build up to 120-story building or even more than that. So in this way, technology is helpful in doing production. Scientific discoveries and technological advancement are mutually dependent on each other. So they are mutually independent. Scientific technology and the scientific discovery. The discovery is made. Once the discovery is made, the quantity has to be increased so that it suffices the needs of the people in a shorter way. Therefore, the quantity has to be increased. In that way, technology is used so that the quantity is increased. So, knowledge of science and technology was very important at every step, from making the stone tool to agriculture production in the evolution of mankind. So, knowledge of science and technology. Earlier, man did not know how to lit the fire. When he saw the fire, the forest caught fire because of the friction, then he learned that friction gives the spark of the fire. Then they started rubbing the stones against each other, and again the sparklets were produced. In this way, the knowledge, earlier knowledge, scientific knowledge, and technology is very, very important in the fields of agriculture, agriculture production, and this was right from the Stone Age man till today. Science and technology we are using, and they are mutually dependent on each other. Later, the advancement of science promoted the mechanization of production. So, if you go back to the history of mankind in the Europe, the industrial development started. That is because there was a demand from the colonies that they let us take the example of textile. They wanted the textile on a large scale, and this textile was woven with the hand, with the handloom it was made, and therefore it used to take a long time to make the cloths by the hand, and the finish was not so good of the cloth. Then later on, the industrial revolution took place. The steam engine was invented. This steam engine was utilized to increase the production of the of the cloths, and it started increasing. Still further, the electricity was invented, and then with the help of electricity, the production still went faster, and therefore large amount of production was possible within a shorter time, and therefore the needs of the people was fulfilled. In this way, technology helps in the applied history to increase the production. The next field is industries and commerce, which deals with economy, money matters. So here, the field of mutual social transaction expands with the growth of industries and trade. As the industries and trade increases, the social transaction also goes on increasing. For example, earlier we had a barter system, a give and take, goods versus goods. Then this transaction started increasing, and therefore the transaction was started with gold coins or silver coins, later on copper coins, and later on we started with the wads or the rupees, with the notes that is made out of paper. So this transaction, as the transaction went on increasing, the industries and trade increased too. So it also promotes continuous development of the network of cultural transaction. So not only the trade increase, not only the commerce increase, but the people who came together, people from different region, they came together and they started trading. So their cultural transaction also started increasing. Cultural interaction. Gujarati people are talking with Maharashtrian people. So cultural interaction were there. So Gujarati drapery and Maharashtrian drapery, or Tamilian people dealing with the Keralites. In this way, the cultural interaction also increased. It is its integral part. So this cultural interaction is the integral part of industries and commerce. We cannot separate it. It is essential to understand the history of this process. So we have to go back to the history. How the coin came into existence, who has given the order, which kings started giving the order that you don't have to exchange goods versus goods. So we have to exchange, you give the coins and you have to give, in return you have to give the goods. So in this way, we have to go back to the history. It is essential to understand its history. The nature of the market and commerce has continued to change. Change is important. Every society needs a change, and therefore the nature of market has changed. Commerce has changed. We can have a look, and before 1992, immediately after the Cold War. I think it was P.V. Narasimha Rao who took the step that we have to have accept the global market system, and therefore many more companies. Our market was open to the whole world, and therefore many more companies started investing in our country. We also started investing in foreign countries. So the change was received, and therefore market and commerce continue to grow according to the nature of human relationship, and social organization also has continued to change. So because of this, earlier we didn't have, our market was restricted to India only, but then the globalization started. Our market was open to the whole globe. It was increased. The trade was increased. It went to every nooks and corners of the world, and therefore this social organization, because of that, also increased, changed, and it is still changing. But the important part is we have to also study its history, so that the roots are found in the history. So the industries and commerce, its roots are found in history. Study the history, and then we accept the changes and go along with the changes.